I'm Joe Lample. When I created Growing a Greener World, I had one goal: to tell stories of everyday people, innovators, entrepreneurs, forward-thinking leaders who are all, in ways both big and small, dedicated to organic gardening and farming, lightening our footprint, conserving vital resources, protecting natural habitats, making a tangible difference for us all. They're real, they're passionate, they're all around us. They're the game changers who are literally growing a greener world and inspiring the rest of us to do the same. Growing a Greener World, it's more than a movement, it's our mission. Growing Power's story began in 1993 on this plot of land, located less than a half mile from the city's largest public housing project. Now, this area has always lacked access to full-service grocery stores with access to fresh produce, and yet it's lined with fast food restaurants, liquor stores, and convenience markets. In this site, it was a struggling plant nursery on the brink of foreclosure. And then along came Will Allen, a man returning to his farming roots who happened to be looking for a place to grow food indoors during the winter and sell it closer in town. With no formal plan, he told the city he'd hired kids in need of work and teach them about food systems and to grow food for their community. Well, the rest is history. Today, Growing Power is considered to be the leading urban agricultural project in the United States, and co-founder Will Allen, the hottest go-to guy in urban farming.
Growing Power, our organization, has really caught on to this movement because of what we do in terms of having this concrete example of food system. About 85% of people today want locally produced food, and they want it year-round. So what we do with this example of a food system is grow food year-round so that we can get food to everybody in our society, not just folks with a lot of money. But we've figured out a way to distribute our food to everybody regardless of their economic situation. This work that we do, I call it a revolution now, it's a movement, has reached this critical period where almost everybody is on board. And when you start seeing politicos and corporate companies and universities joining a grassroots type movement, it kind of tells you that it's an important thing in our time. Actually, my farming roots go back to when I was a child. My father was a sharecropper. But he wanted myself and my brothers to learn about where our food came from. So that's the beginning of my farming background. And then as I grew up and about to go away to college, I said I'd never do this work again. You know, my friends are out having a good time. Went to college. My goal was to get an education and play professional basketball, which I did. And the last place that I played was in Europe, and I started hanging out with some Belgian farmers, and all of a sudden I had this urge to farm again. There was something missing in my life, so I must have had this hidden passion. And then when I got back to the States in the late 70s, I really wanted to farm. But you know, it's not practical to start farming. It takes a lot of money, so I always had a corporate job and had the farming. So I kind of had two full-time jobs as I was putting my kids through school. And in 1993, I was actually driving down the street to visit one of my accounts when I was working with Procter & Gamble. I saw this place was for sale, and something made me stop. And that's when I really got in trouble. In all seriousness, it was something that I knew I had to have this place. I never envisioned this becoming a nonprofit. About 2 years into operating this as a nonprofit, I was asked to help a youth group who wanted to grow an organic garden, and I had some space in the back that's now occupied by hoop houses and other things. The Milwaukee Journal did a front page story about me working with these kids, and then I started getting requests from other youth groups, and then my friend said, why don't you start a nonprofit since you like doing this work, you know. So over the years it's just grown along a continuum from me you know, volunteering back in those days to help this youth group to where we are today. What we have to do is really increase the amount of production, and to do that there's some challenges, one of which is we don't have enough farmers. So we're going to have to train farmers like we're doing here this weekend in all of our workshops and our outreach and so forth. So I look at my job at this point in my life is to pass on what I've learned to the next generation. But to do this type of agriculture, and this is important type of agriculture today from the standpoint that we have to do it more intensively. We have smaller spaces and we have to make sure we get maximum production, and to do that you have to grow healthy soil. And if you can grow healthy soil, you can grow healthy food, and if you have healthy food, you grow healthy people and community and so forth. So it all starts with the soil.
Growing Power is a place where the community can come to purchase fresh, locally grown produce 12 months out of the year, which is at the heart of Will Allen's vision right from the start. But could it still be possible today that this is one of the only places around where you can get fresh, locally grown food? Well, Patty's on the hunt to find out, while I check out some of this fresh spinach. Nothing better.
Growing Power is such a vital part of their community because they provide fresh produce. We wanted to go and take a look and see if there's anywhere else you could get fresh produce here in the city.
Although finding fresh, locally grown produce in town can be a real challenge, Growing Power tries to ease the burden with their fresh market located right here on the property. Now the problem is demand can be so high on any given Saturday, even getting in here can be a real challenge. Now to serve the 10,000 area urbanites, Growing Power has to pack a lot into this space. And Sarah Chrisman is the facilities manager, the lead educator, and basically jack of all trades. But then again, everyone that works here is cross-trained to keep Growing Power a well-oiled machine. So there's a lot going on inside of here.
There really is. We've got our 6 A-frame greenhouses, upwards of 8 or 9 hoop houses, modular in nature, so occasionally we'll take them down if we need use of space for something else. In fact, we've got to remove a big piece of machinery. So if we have to take down hoop house 9.5, so be it. We'll just rebuild it.
Wow.
And that's part of the good use of that type of space in this tiny, small, urban location.
What about all the plants that are here? Have you ever counted how many are growing at any one time?
I'm pleased to say we got a donation September of last year. Residents, landscapers, horticulturalists collected up used pots, trays, greenhouse equipment, and did a big donation effort, a big sort of wrangling, keep that stuff out of landfills.
Yeah.
So we were able to get 7 tons of pots, just regular old pots like this, empty, ready for us to fill. We have hundreds of yards of compost. So really the measure of our success, especially with our volunteers, is we're able to get those pots into rotation. As soon as we can process them, we do them in a light bleach solution, get them filled, get them in production. You'll likely see a lot of that as we walk through. But what's in production on site here, upwards of 25,000 individual pots.
Wow.
So with these trays, there's the pots, the trays, the beds. So we've got all of these pots. We're seeding on any given day, 100, 150 trays, putting us anywhere in the range, easily 1,000 trays per week.
Wow.
That's seeding, that's not counting the dumping, filling, composting, processing, and then there's hoop houses, 4 or 5 of raised bed gardens. There's 14 fish systems in operation, so we're utilizing that maximum vertical space.
And that's just what's going on inside.
Absolutely. There's so much outside. Let's go take a look.
All right.
So in our Milwaukee winters that get really cold, we're able to keep these greens in production all winter long by use of the compost in the corners, compost around the edges. We grow worms in that compost outside, compost inside, fed to the worms later once it's cooled.
And just to clarify, the reason why the compost helps warm up those greenhouses is because as it's breaking down, it's generating all that heat, and that heat is transferring into the hoop houses.
Precisely, precisely. We do have for our livestock on site turkeys. There are 5 of them. We've got our goats. The primary function of all the livestock, I'd say early on, is their manure. Turkeys we sell for meat. Goats, we sell the males for meat. The females are for rearing. That milk that we're able to get into a cheese making capacity. We've got layer hens in greenhouse 14 for eggs. Remember, all of this for manure. And then a couple of ducks and a chicken tractor on the other side of the barn, and a single old turkey.
Just for show.
Just for show.
Well, we've already learned that Growing Power takes advantage of every square inch of space, and one of the cool ways that they do that is through aquaponics. Now, essentially, that's the cultivation and symbiotic relationship of aquatic animals with plants and a recirculating system. So here's how it works. This is a big tank of fish, and the water is pumped out of this tank into these vertical beds. Now, each of these beds has a gravel base to filter out the bacteria and convert the waste into nutrients, namely nitrogen, that the plants can use. And there's also a lot of watercress in here that serves as a secondary filter. Now, the water leaves those beds and goes into the growing beds. So here's how it works. The water makes its way from the gravel bed into these growing beds, where everything from microgreens to tomato plants are cultivated. The water is wicked up, the plants are fed organically, and eventually the water leaves this bed and makes its way back into the fish tank, hence the recirculating system. But you have the cash crop from the fish, organically fed microgreens and other edibles, and a pretty good way to go, and a great use of space.
Here at Growing Power, they have an extensive vermicomposting system. They use red wigglers to create a nutrient-rich organic compost and soil amendment. They layer their worms with decomposed compost. The worms do their magic, and in 12 weeks, they have nutrient-rich soil amendment to use in their garden. There are so many benefits to using vermicompost. It helps with your soil structure and water retention. It also enhances your plant growth and root growth. You can make your own vermicompost at home with just a small bin. Anybody can do it. So go out there and try and make your own rich soil amendment using worms. Thousands of people visit Growing Power every single year. Many of them attend workshops like the ones going on this weekend on vermicomposting, aquaponics, and all of the sustainable systems they practice here at Growing Power. Growing Power's weekend workshop started off with an orientation, and now we're getting a personal tour from Will Allen himself.
This area, this is greenhouse number 3. A number of things are going on in this greenhouse. As you can see, one of the things I want you all to pay attention to is how we use space.
Why was it important for you to come today to the Growing Power workshop?
Oh, because I wanted to learn so many new things, and so that I can use this as a tool for sharing it with my neighborhood. I was inspired by you. I raise rabbits, and I do the raised beds like you showed, and I have gotten into composting, and I have discovered that through composting I can grow just about anything. And my neighbors decided that this was a pretty cool idea, and so they inspired me. So I'm going to share everything that I learned.
Oh, excellent. So what is the workshop that you're really interested in checking out today?
Two things, actually. One is the aquaculture, and the other, because I'd like to try and do this in my backyard. My goal is to show people what they can do in a small area and what they can do to help themselves. And also, I want to develop community projects. So I'm using my little space as a teaching tool, and I'm going to go on from there.
So what inspired you to come here this weekend?
I first came last May. I ran into Will at the Community Food Security Coalition Conference that was in Philadelphia. And it was on urban ag. And I went to the panel, asked a question about, we're talking about food insecurity, and but still, people can't afford to go to farmers markets and they can't afford to buy this local food. How can we address this? All the other panelists, they kind of started scratching their heads, and Will just took off. And so I just fell in love with the concept, and I just determined I was going to get here.
I'm a member of the Commercial Urban Ag program.
Oh, okay.
So I'm learning to be an urban farmer.
Excellent.
I'm a physician by trade.
Oh, wonderful.
One usually is about right.
This one's done?
Yeah, I'll add a little more to that for you. And then we just spread it out.
And this is where you do all the sprouts for...
We're making trays for sprouts. So we're just setting them up. So we're just stacking them up. So because they can seed so fast.
There are so many workshops taking place this weekend. One of the most popular is the Aquaponics Workshop. Participants will learn the ins and outs of installing and maintaining an aquaponics system. The Vermicompost Workshop teaches how to turn waste into nutrient-rich fertilizer using worms. And the Composting Workshop explains what to compost and how to use that compost. Growing Power's goal is simple: to grow food, grow minds, and grow communities. I'm here in Growing Power's greenhouse, dedicated to growing spinach. Chef Nathan Lyon is gonna be in the kitchen and show us what to do with it.
I love the changing of the seasons. When the summer starts waning away and the fall produce starts coming in. One of my favorite types of fall produce is spinach. And spinach is so amazing and versatile. It can hold up to just about any flavor. One of the things I'm making today is an amazing marinated flank steak salad with wilted baby spinach. All right, I'm using flank steak today. If you don't have flank, you can use skirt also. But something to keep in mind, when you look at the meat right here, any sort of meat, be it chicken or turkey, steak, you'll always see the grains going from top to bottom. But after you're done cooking it, you always want to cut against the grain, okay? Because then it seems really, really tender. It looks like there's a lot going on, but that's okay, because everything's compartmentalized. This is the salad, this is the marinade, and this is the salad dressing. Really, really simple. So we'll start with the marinade. How about a little bit of soy sauce? Next up, a touch of sesame oil. Okay. And for a little bit of sweetness, how about some brown sugar? And a couple more flavors I'm going for. Fresh ginger. I always have some fresh ginger stored in my refrigerator, and it goes so well against this microplane, so you get little teeny pieces and a lot of the juice and a lot of that flavor as well. All right, that's not all the flavor I'm gonna put on this. How about a couple cloves of fresh garlic on the microplane? Absolutely. Here we are. A quick tap. Look at all that stuff we get on there. That's a lot of flavor, and that goes in the bag. There we are. Close it up, push the air out of it, and just kind of smush it around. All right, you want this to marinate between 10 and 12 hours. Overnight is even better. So I made one last night. To the next day, has plenty of flavor. And that's what I've done here. Now check out the different colors you got in here. It's nice and dark. Took that marinade really well. Large saute pan. Time for the action, guys. Medium high heat. Get it kicking. There we are. A little bit of extra virgin olive oil to get the whole thing started. There we are. And once it's hot, just put that sucker right in there. All right, here we go. There we are. I like that sound. We'll keep these tongs over here for the meat. We'll grab some new tongs later on. Now we're gonna compose the salad right up here in the front with this beautiful spinach. Thinly slices of the red onion. We'll throw in some avocado. Last tomatoes of the summer, guys. Sorry. And then this beautiful yellow bell pepper. Dice it all up, and it goes in there with that spinach. All right, let me check on this steak really quick. That's great color. Now is the time to flip it. Look at that. All right, now we're on to this amazing dressing. It's so easy, guys. It's a Dijon vinaigrette. You make it at home. And I like to use containers you could use more than once. Simple. We'll start with a little bit of whole grain Dijon mustard, red wine, and balsamic vinegar. And of course, extra virgin olive oil. All right, perfect. Pop on the lid and give it a quick shake. Ah! Woo! And there we have it. Nice and thick, sweet. The kids love this stuff. A homemade Dijon vinaigrette. The steak's got to be done by now. I'm gonna pull this off, right off the heat. And the second saute pan goes on the heat. Watch this. We're gonna take this homemade Dijon vinaigrette and heat it up. This is part of the fun. Okay. It looks nice and warm. Let's get that spinach on top so the spinach will wilt. We'll pour this warm Dijon vinaigrette right over top. Just like that. And we'll just toss it up while the spinach wilts. All right, it's all tossed up. Add some to this beautiful white plate. Looking good. The spinach looks fantastic. This vinaigrette is wonderful. Oh, those gorgeous, gorgeous colors. And then we'll thinly slice some of the steak and put it right over top. There we go. Okay, and be sure to slice it right against the grain for a nice, tender finish. There we go. Nice thin slices right against the grain. There we go. Just delicious. Spinach is so amazing, it holds up to just about any flavor. And for this recipe, go to growingagrainerworld.com. You'll find it right there for you. Enjoy.
Located in a part of the city lacking access to nutritional fresh food, yet surrounded by fast food, Growing Power has transformed this urban landscape. Through low-cost farming methods, they produce a wide variety of food and scores of new farmers from across the street and around the planet through its intensive hands-on workshops and internships. Since the beginning, Growing Power has been an oasis in what Will Allen describes as a food desert.
And through the process, Allen is one urban farmer forever changing the cultivation, production, and delivery of healthy food to underserved urban populations around the world.
And we have so much more to share with you about Growing Power, including additional video, articles, and expanding cooking segments from all of our episodes.
And it's all on the web at growingagreenerworld.com. I'm Patty Moreno.
And I'm Joe Lample, and we'll see you back here next time for more Growing a Greener World.
Here at Growing Power, they have an extensive vermicomposting system. They use red wigglers and partially composted, decomposed.
Okay, one more time. Is there any way to pick up?
I love the changing of the seasons. It's actually a really romantic time. Late summer, early fall is when all the... keep going. Too many words.